Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered, are we alone in the universe? Or even creepier, what if Earth is just a giant Petri dish in someone else's cosmic experiment? Just a tiny speck of bacteria cultivated by a hyper-advanced alien scientist. Our Milky Way galaxy contains between 100 to 400 billion stars. If every single star system is a potential incubator, then the universe itself is the most insane, unregulated biology lab in history. But hold on a second. Before we start blaming green aliens with tentacles for everything, the truth is actually much closer to home. We, humanity, are the ones initiating the most audacious life experiments across the solar system. And sometimes, we mess things up spectacularly. Are we an invasive species, unintentionally scattering Earth's microbes into the pristine void? Or are we the universe's way of spreading life to dead worlds? Welcome to the grand era of galactic infection, where our hardiest microorganisms are already hitching rides on our multi-billion-dollar spaceships. Let's explore how we became the mad scientists of the Milky Way. But first, to understand how we might be infecting the galaxy, we need to look at the basic recipe for life. Welcome to the Galactic Petri Dish. To spark life from dead rock, you don't need mystical space magic. You just need a cosmic cookbook. Liquid water, a reliable energy source, and a generous sprinkle of organic compounds. Astrophysicists call the perfect place to mix this recipe the Goldilocks zone. Orbit too close to your host star, and your precious water boils away into a scalding, toxic nightmare. Drift too far into the void, and you become a permanently frozen cosmic popsicle. But sit right in the middle, and it's like finding the absolute perfect thermostat setting before you go to sleep. For decades, we arrogantly assumed Earth was the only planet lucky enough to hit this galactic jackpot. Ding, ding, ding! We are the special chosen ones of the universe. Or so we thought. As our robotic probes and telescopes got better, our massive planetary ego took a serious hit. We started finding out that nature's biology labs can operate in the most punishing, ungodly environments imaginable. Right here on our own planet, miles beneath the crushing ocean waves, where sunlight has never existed, we found bizarre, alien-like ecosystems throwing a literal rave around boiling, toxic hydrothermal vents. If life can thrive in a deep-sea hellscape, suddenly the rest of our dead solar system looks highly suspicious. Because it turns out, the moment you set strict biological rules, Earth's life immediately sets them on fire. Meet the undisputed, heavyweight champion of extreme survival, the tardigrade, or as we affectionately call it, the water bear. Drop them in boiling water, they just treat it like a relaxing cosmic spa day. Freeze them to near absolute zero, they just hit the snooze button and go into deep hibernation. Blast them with lethal doses of space radiation, they literally just get a glowing tan and the soul-crushing vacuum of deep space. Barely an inconvenience. So naturally, in 2019, a group of human scientists thought, hey, let's shoot a few thousand of these immortal gummy bears at the moon. They were loaded onto an uncrewed lunar lander called Bereshit, tucked safely inside a microscopic archive. But unfortunately, orbital mechanics is a harsh mistress. The lander came in way too fast. And smash! The spacecraft became a multi-million-dollar scatterbomb of lunar debris. Now, if you were a human in that crash, well, you'd be a colorful stain on a rock. But tardigrades aren't human. They survived the impact by curling up into dehydrated glass-like pellets. They are just waiting. If you add a drop of water right now, they would simply rehydrate, wake up, and start walking around. Congratulations, humanity! We accidentally turned the pristine moon into our very first off-world biological crime scene. But spilling some water bears on a dead, dry rock is one thing. What happens when we accidentally target a planet that might already have its own life hiding in the dirt? Billions of years ago, Mars wasn't the rusty, desolate wasteland we know today. It was a blue, wet paradise, basically Earth's cooler, younger sibling. But Mars lost its magnetic field. Without that invisible shield, the sun's harsh solar winds stripped away its atmosphere, boiling off the oceans, leaving behind a freezing, irradiated desert. And naturally, humanity decided to cover it in expensive, remote-controlled cars. Rovers like Curiosity and Perseverance aren't just taking panoramas for Instagram. They are sophisticated, nuclear-powered chemistry labs on wheels. They literally shoot lasers at rocks to vaporize them, sniffing out the chemical building blocks of life hidden in the dust. But here's the catch. The surface of Mars is constantly blasted by cosmic radiation. Nothing can survive up there without getting instantly sterilized. If you stood on the surface unprotected, your DNA would literally get shredded like a document in a cosmic paper shredder. So, if Martian life ever existed, it didn't just give up and die. It likely did the smart thing. It dug down. Deep beneath the rusty crust, shielded completely from deadly ultraviolet rays, Mars hides massive, insulated subterranean caverns. Down there, alien microbes could be clinging to life, feeding on geothermal energy, totally oblivious to the robots driving above them. In fact, radar scans have already found evidence of massive liquid water lakes buried under kilometers of polar ice. The perfect hiding spot. But what happens when our shiny rovers, which might still carry a few stubborn Earth bacteria, start drilling deep into the Martian soil? Imagine a resilient Earth germ riding a drill bit straight into a pristine billion-year-old Martian microbial retirement home. It would be an intergalactic tragedy. Our invasive germs could outcompete or literally eat the native life before we even knew it existed. Mars is our first big test in cosmic etiquette. But if you think Mars is wild, wait until we visit the ocean moons of the gas giants. Let's leave the dry, rusty deserts behind and head to the outer solar system, where the massive gas giants Jupiter and Saturn rule. Orbiting these behemoths are moons like Europa and Enceladus. From the outside, they look like giant, boring cosmic snowballs, just endless miles of jagged, frozen ice. The surface temperature is so insanely low, it makes Antarctica feel like a tropical beach resort. But looks can be deceiving. If you take a giant cosmic chainsaw and slice through that 10-mile thick ice shell, you plunge into a pitch-black, global liquid water ocean, vastly deeper and larger than all of Earth's oceans combined. Wait, how is there liquid water so far away from the sun? Gravity. The massive gas giants constantly tug and squeeze these little moons like cosmic stress balls. This constant gravitational flexing creates immense friction deep inside the moon's rocky core, generating a massive amount of internal heat. And where a hot, rocky core meets a deep, dark ocean, you get hydrothermal vents, a perfect, cozy chemical soup. This means these hidden oceans have absolutely everything needed for life to thrive, completely isolated from the sun. There could be entire, bizarre alien ecosystems, or even massive predators swimming around in the dark, right in our cosmic backyard. In fact, the pressure inside Enceladus is so intense that water literally bursts out of cracks in the ice, shooting massive geysers straight into space. Naturally, humanity couldn't resist. We sent the Cassini spacecraft flying directly through these space fountains just to taste the water. And guess what? It found complex organic molecules, the exact building blocks of life. It's like smelling a fresh bakery from down the street. Now, space agencies are actively designing robotic, nuclear-powered submarines to melt straight through the ice crust and swim around in the deep. But here is the terrifying part. What if our shiny space submarine accidentally carries a few stowaway Earth bacteria into the pristine water? This brings us to a mind-bending concept known as Panspermia, the idea that life can hitchhike across the stars. What if the origin of life on Earth wasn't actually Earth? Imagine an asteroid slamming into ancient wet Mars billions of years ago. The impact launches chunks of rock into space. Hidden deep inside those rocks are dormant Martian microbes, surviving the brutal journey. Millions of years later, that rock crashes onto a barren early Earth. The microbes wake up, multiply, and boom. We are all technically Martians. It's a fun theory. But right now, humanity is actively executing panspermia in reverse. And we don't need asteroids to do it. Every time we build a robotic explorer to search the galaxy for alien life, we assemble it in obsessive, ultra-purified clean rooms. But biology is stubbornly sticky. Even after intense chemical baths and UV radiation, a fraction of our hardiest Earth bacteria always survives to hitch a ride. And when these contaminated billion-dollar machines arrive at pristine ocean worlds like Europa, they don't just sit there taking pretty pictures. They radiate massive amounts of heat. The warm nuclear batteries of a probe can easily melt the surrounding ice, creating a cozy little puddle of liquid water, a puddle that might eventually seep down through deep cracks, carrying our highly evolved Earth germs straight into the dark ocean below, dropping them right into a fragile, isolated alien ecosystem that has never had to fight an invasive species. And bacteria do what bacteria do best. They multiply, eating everything in sight. In our eagerness to find alien life, we might accidentally wipe it out before we even get to say hello. Fortunately, we actually thought about this apocalyptic nightmare scenario before we started carelessly tossing rockets everywhere. NASA and other space agencies have an entire, highly funded department with arguably the coolest name in human history, the Planetary Protection Office. Their singular obsessive job is to defend the galaxy from Earth's filthy germs. They do this by subjecting spacecraft components to literal torture, baking them in giant ovens at extreme temperatures and running them through intense ultraviolet light and chemical acid baths until they are completely medically sterile. They even categorize destinations. Dead rocks like the Moon get a green light, but potential habitats like Mars or Europa get strict VIP security protocols. This extreme caution is exactly why we intentionally destroyed the Cassini spacecraft in 2017, a fiery suicide mission to ensure it would never eventually crash into and contaminate the pure ocean of Enceladus. Because this strict protocol isn't just about keeping science experiments clean, it touches on something deeply terrifying: the Great Filter. The Great Filter is a theoretical evolutionary wall, a disaster so insurmountable that it wipes out almost every civilization before they can conquer the galaxy. So, here is the dark question. What if we are the Great Filter for the rest of our solar system? What if humanity's ultimate role isn't the wise, noble explorer, but the invasive weed that chokes out the beautiful galactic garden? If we want to truly find alien life, we have to be incredibly careful. Otherwise, we might just spend billions of dollars to discover our own contaminated leftovers. Because a universe filled with weird, diverse, and bizarre alien biology is infinitely more beautiful than a universe filled entirely with Earth's dirty footprint. So the next time you look up at the night sky and see a shooting star streaking across the darkness, give it a little wave, because it just might be carrying our microscopic neighbors on an interstellar road trip. Whether we are the results of an ancient alien experiment or the ones who will eventually seed the cosmos, we are holding the ultimate power of creation and destruction in our tiny, clumsy hands. And speaking of clumsy hands, you know what doesn't require holding a delicate biological ecosystem? Our brand new space merch. Get your own indestructible Tardigrade plushie or Galactic Petri Dish poster at the link in the description. It helps us make more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and a massive special shout out to our Patreon supporters who keep this channel alive and clean of germs.